¿Me oye?
¿Partimos?
Ajá, ya conectado. ¿Me oyes? ¿Me ves? ¿Todo bien?
Todo bien, ¿sí? ¿Vamos?
Bueno, listo. So, cambiamos a inglés.
Yes, we are going to talk in English.
All right, ready. I flip. My brain is now in English.
Okay, great. We can do it.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Yes.
Artlist.io.
Welcome, Victor.
Well, thank you very much, Santiago. Nice to be here again, this time in a second language. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, I feel so happy to see you again. Victor, I want to know if you can share your trajectory or tell more about yourself for the people.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, let me thank you for the invitation again. So to have the opportunity to talk to you and your audience in English, so we expand the people that can listen to us and know that we're talking about this subject. Well, my name is Victor MANRIQUE. I'm a specialist in generational integration, where the motto is like knowledge doesn't have any age, your abilities, your talents doesn't have any age. I'm from Venezuela originally. I live in Australia for 12 years. I live in Switzerland for another 3 years. And then 4 years ago, I returned to Venezuela and started this new project in this area, which is the silver economy, working with the new longevity, the demographic changes as they're happening right now. And then that's what connected me to you, or you to me, so we can discuss these subjects that are so important.
Great. Could you share what is your perspective respect the definition of the concept of talent, their application for the different generations or age?
Yes, that is correct. What happened is historically we in the business world, people has been looking for like always new talent, fresh talent. We see the young people that's coming out from the universities, and with all that energy and eager to work and to learn. But nowadays that is changing a little bit. So the definition of talent and ability is a little bit different, because now we have access to information, all of us, independent if we come out of university or not. And then that young talent that is coming into the workforce it has a new different way of thinking, a different way of perspective of what they want. And then also we have the thing of what I was talking to you about before, the new longevity, that before we used to retire from work at 60, but now we live until 80. So now we have all this big gap of people that they have a lot of talent, that they have all their capabilities, and they can have input of value into the companies. But we are not looking into them. So now we need to start looking into them, because that is talent, that is abilities, knowledge, experience. That's the definition of talent that I give. And so we can take advantage of the opportunity, look into this group of people over 50, 60, 70, because we're living longer than that. So we can then bring them all together into our businesses, together with the young people. So then you ask me about the talent. So talent, we don't tag talent to an age. We tag talent to your abilities, to your knowledge, to your capability of adaptability. So that doesn't mean if you are young you can do that, but that means also if you have if you're old, like 40, 50, 60, you still can do that too. Your talent doesn't expire.
Yeah. But could you give a brief description of the different generations? You have other perspective in this conversation, please?
Yes, that's true. Well, as we know, nowadays we have at least 5 generations working together in the same team. So it's important to identify each of the generations that you're working with, because each generation have some specifics or some few things in common that the environment during the time they were growing up build their character, build the way of communication, build the feelings and emotion, etc. So when we look right now, there is a big conflict with the generation Z, or the new generation into the workforce, which is generation Z, o Z en español, la generación Z.
Yes, yeah, great.
So this generation, there is a bit of conflict because the old generations doesn't think that they have like the willpower and the grit and all that manage of stress that old generation used to have. The things that we look at the things, we don't understand them because this generation just wants flexibility, wants to have wellness, like mental, emotional, that's what they're aiming to. Old generation used to aim the corporate ladder. So there is a little bit of conflict. When we understand this, for example, generation Z, that they want these things that are different, and then generation Z understand that generation boomers, for example, that will be our parents, have different beliefs, different aims, and then when we understand each of them, their position, we can connect or build channels between them, so the communication and the understanding of working is there, so everyone can achieve whatever they want in life, and then the company can achieve with a team working together into the same aim. So there is the aim of the company and the aim of each of the generation within the team also being achieved.
Okay. In this line we can find some type of islands or cells that don't have or don't take or don't build bridge between there, and for that they don't give and add more value for the proposal or the mission or objective for the company?
Well, yes, that's true. Like when we're talking about bridging generations, that's the important thing of having multiple generations within the team. Because if you have a very young person with a person who is very high in age or old, like 60, 70, the way of communication is very different and the aims are very different. But if we have other generation in the middle, like for example millennials, that's in between these two generations, like the gap is the understanding is not as far, because you have someone in the middle can connect with the young one and can also connect with the other person higher in age, and then the communication can be bring back together without so much extremes. So these generations in the middle will help bridge that gap, and then also will help bridge the gap generally within the company.
Okay, but how we can work with that type of bias?
With the type of
conscious bias?
Well,
yeah, because it's a type of
yeah, that is correct. Each generation and each of us, you have some type of bias. I also do. The thing is, if we work in education, we work on understanding, we work on understand the other side. Okay, look, this person of this generation think this way, work this way, because why? For example, the generation that crossed the World War II, they're still working, but the way of thinking is very different for a person who has never seen war or global crisis, economical crisis. So the way of thinking is more like research, save money. that sort of things. So when we understand where each person is coming from, then we can understand, okay, so that's why they think this way, but then this is where I'm coming from, and this is why I think this way. We're trying to find the middle point between the two or three or four or five generations. So where are the points that connect us all, and that's the mission of the company. And then, wait a minute, as for example, a baby boomer, he tends to like the corporate ladder, climb high in the company. Well, let me provide this person the ways to achieve that climbing within the company, like manager, general, CEO, etc. But Jen said he or she doesn't care about that. She or he only cares about, well, I want to do my work, but I want to leave. I don't want to give all my life to the company. I want to do things for myself. So I don't want to stay here late at night because I want to go out with my friends or my family or for my own well-being. So the company have to work ways to allow that to this person. And then this is called, there is a new tendency what is called entrepreneurial within the company. You can be an entrepreneur within the company. So you don't belong to the company, but you are outsourcing goals and comes depending of the job that is required to do.
But if we make an analysis, respect the multinational or the general companies, they don't prefer to have a more senior or older people because they have some type of meanings or paradigms, perspectives, or other aspects.
True.
To take the conclusion that it's a priority to take more junior or semi-senior profiles.
Yes, that is true, and that's the important thing of like changing our paradigm of thinking that 60 is the end of the working life. Because like this big company that require people that stay within the corporate ladder for like senior roles, CEO roles, wait, why didn't you have people retiring at 60 if you're living till 80 and you still want to work? So start to having a look to all these people 45, 50, 60 years old that still want to work, that have the capabilities, knowledge, experience for these roles. Because there is not only the people that's coming into the company, because the business need to adapt not only within the business, but also within the market. Because the market wants different things now. So you need to understand and talk the language of the new market. And the new market is very different because you have like the young ones that they want all this flexibility, all this well-being, like the environmental thing, like the company talk to me directly. But then also you have the silver economy, which is the people that wants the old school sort of things too. So the companies need to adapt to this changing world within the company and outside the company. So you need people within the company that speak both languages, the young language and the old school language, and then trying to make that transition to transfer all this to the market. Because if not, you will be obsolete.
And the artificial intelligence can help us with this change management, or that can be an obstacle, or what do you think about?
Well, that's the other thing that's coming too, because this is the like demographic changes, but then we have the technological changes. Now we have artificial intelligence that can pretty much replace every job. But artificial intelligence by itself, it won't replace everyone. It's like the person using artificial intelligence is the one who's going to replace the other people that is not using artificial intelligence. So my invitation is that everyone learn how to use it, like with the internet or the computer in like 2000s. People, when the computer come into the office, nowadays no one asks you if you know how to use a computer. But 25 years ago, it was like an option. Today, if you don't use a computer or internet, you have no position, no role in the workforce. In the future, with the artificial intelligence, will be the same. Right now, it's an option, but in the future, it's a must. If you don't know how to use it, you're obsolete. So, yes, it can help, but we need the human capabilities and the human soft skills to go hand to hand with technology so we can then advance and provide all these services that the companies will require and to mitigate the age difference between the different generations.
And if you think we can think in a scenario that you will be an advisor for different institutions and governments. What can be your recommendations or your suggestions for this institution or type of groups?
Well, that's a bit of a delicate subject because this needs help from every angle: private, public, individuals, governments. So companies the things like the companies by themselves, they're realizing this because follow the money. That's all you need to look at, where the money is going and where the attention is going. So if you pay attention to the money and where the attention is going from the public and from the market, it's going this way. Yeah. It's going silver economy, Generation Z, integration, AI, all these things. Now, from the government perspective, they can create ways to promote, to make, to help, like for example with taxes, like government give companies that hire people 50 and over will have like, I don't know, a tax discount for promoting people from 50 and over coming back to work. That could be an allowance of tax deduction, for example. That will motivate the businesses to look even further and faster to bring all these people in. But in any case, this is happening with the government support or not, because again, follow the money, follow the need, and the need is there. There is no generation, young generation that's coming because the numbers are not there, and the older population is growing faster and faster and bigger and living for longer, and that's where the market is, and that's where the human capital is.
Yeah, I had a lot of doubt respect the conscious or the information that the people have respect this problem or this phenomenon or event, because every day in the social media or different other aspect like the newspaper or more, we can saw a lot of news respect that the people will not be more not be more younger. It's be older. And for that, how we can help with for the person for the other, because if for an example, the other day I talked with some person, and she told me that the climate change does not exist.
Okay.
They can give me the possibility to have a conversation with her. They don't talk with me. Yeah, she shared a lot of words to me, and okay, but this is a point that it's so that they so close from all of us, because I am an older adult. Every day I don't be more younger.
Yes.
And my grandfathers, or I can meet other type of people that be part of the society. Artificial intelligence, I don't know how inclusive be for the person of this type of groups. We can find a lot of other challenges for the present and for the future, because these tools can we stay having a accelerate growth, and we need to adapt and to change and create a new way of life for the development of the society.
Yes, that is correct, and you nail it right to the point, because the big issue here is, and we need to start asking this type of questions like who I am. I'm not my profession, so we are used to attach our identity to our profession. What happens when I'm retired and I don't do my profession anymore, and the society doesn't allow me to do anymore because I'm retired, or the technology comes and eliminates all the jobs, or well, not all, because it will create new, but I lost my job because of technology. Who I am, I lost my identity, and then I feel useless. I feel depressed, and then the economic situation, because I cannot work. So we need to, like you said, we need to rethink how society and the economic machine is gonna work for every one of us, be able to provide value and to find ourselves with a purpose of life, especially when we are 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, because there is a huge crisis, health crisis for this in this gap of the population, because of all these situations that are happening, solitude, loss of identity, depression, neglection, and you name it. So we need to start to thinking all this, and the first thing we need to do, because you said it really well, the technology is gonna create a huge gap. So we need to close the digital technological gap of huge part of the population. And not only old people, there's a lot of young people that still don't know how to use technology per se. I was surprised to find out that, but there are studies that there is a lot of young people that don't know how to use technology either. So we need to close that gap of technology literacy and bring this person into the digital world. Because, for example, we were talking about this the other day. If I don't have a digital presence like in LinkedIn or some of the social media, how the companies are going to find me? If the companies are looking through like my digital fingerprint, they don't looking anymore at papers, they don't look anymore at I will submit a CV of 5 pages. When you meet someone, what's the first things you do? You look through the social media to find out who this person is. The companies do the same thing. So if I want to find a job and I don't have a presence in the digital world, how they're gonna find me? How can I provide my services and let people know that I exist beyond the 4 blocks that I live? Because in the 4 blocks that I live, I don't know, 50 people, but the world is billions of people. I want to reach all of them.
Yeah, more than 8 billion of.
Yes, and of the 8 billions, only like 1 or 2 billion have access to internet. So this is coming. And for example, there is a statistic for LinkedIn. There is like, I think, 1 billion users, but only 1% is actually active. Imagine in the future when there's not 1 billion, but 2, 3 billions, and that 1% active, you will have access to huge of people. But if you're not there, where are you? How can I find you for you to provide me a service? That's the question, and that's what I invite everyone to catch up to the technology and to catch up to have a digital presence.
Yeah, for the future, some businessman or businesswoman refers that the economy will change for the gig economy.
Correct.
And that is a conceptual perspective in that the people or human will provide a service for a entrepreneur or businessman or a person with a great business.
Yeah.
And then they will work more than with a contract, only with for a project, and they will have a date of start and finish, and that will change the concept, or we can build our own identity or the perspective that we will have respect the others. What do you think about we can help or how we can work in this world?
Well, that is absolutely correct what you're saying, and actually there is a statistics for that. I think it's for 2030 or 2030 or 2035. 50% of the employees will be gig economy, will be freelancers. 50%. So that is huge, because that's a new model of work, because it's beneficial for everyone. As a company, if I hire you for a specific task, as a service provider, I don't have to give you insurance, I don't have to give you holidays, no, because you're doing your job, I hire you for the specific job, and that's it, done. I don't have liabilities. And for you, you're not attached only to me. So you can have multiple jobs somewhere else. So you have multiple sources of income within your specialty, obviously, or within your service that you provide. So, but we need to change that paradigm, that way of thinking, that I go to an office and I have a boss and he pay me every month. No, now I have to develop some skills, or I need to hire people with those skills to sell my services, so I can then. So there is many ways to do it, but that's a way. That's the new way of the work for the future, like the gig economy, company of one, solo entrepreneur. These concepts are already here, and those are the people that are doing well during this time where a lot of people say, I can't find job, I can't find work. But why you can't find work? Because one, you're not on the digital world. You are not in one platform, not even one. So how the companies are going to find you? Two, we don't know we don't even know ourselves. What I'm good for, what do I know, what problem do I solve, and how I express that, how I let the other person or the businesses know what do I do, how I do it, and what problem do I solve for you. And then so you can understand what I do, what problem can I solve for you, and then you will hire me because you want the problem solved. But if I can't express it myself, who am I gonna sell it to? So we all need to change that way of thinking, that it's a CV with the skills and degrees doesn't work anymore. It's what problem can you solve? Put it into a service package and offer it, and let the world know what you know and what can you solve.
Yeah. We have a lot of time talking. Respect is so important thing. And I want to know if you can share your other, more your latest or most important advisement for the people,
Well,
for the audience.
there is so much, but my first advice to everyone is to close the gap of the digital literacy. Get there. There's a lot of people, and by the way, that's another service that someone that is good at it can offer it. For example, I don't know how to package all this information, but there is someone I can talk to. There is many people you have interviewed because I've seen them. Catherine, for example, in Chile, she can help you with, okay, what does she do? She comes, okay, tell me about you. What do you do? What's your experience? And then she captures all that information and tells you, okay, this is your service. Now put it in LinkedIn. And then she will show you how to use LinkedIn. So you need just to find the people that can help you to do the things that you need to do. You don't need to know it all. You don't need to do it all by yourself. You can get help Of course, that will cost some money sometimes. That will be an uncle favor, a nephew favor, but find the ways to get into the digital world to start with and understand what do you do, how do you do it, and what you're good for, and what problem can you solve. Only one. Find one problem that you can solve and offer it. That's my best advice to the individual. Now, to companies, that I work with companies, the first thing is understand that you have 5 generations within your business, at least working together. That's communication.
Yeah.
Get communication right, and then you will solve 80% of all your problems. So simple. And after that, well, many things can be done. But for businesses, understand that 5 generations within your team, there is a huge potential of people, employees or collaborators, whatever you want to call it, 40 plus, 45 plus, because we live until 80, even more. You don't need to retire at 60. So look into that pool of people. So that's my advice for individual and for businesses.
Great. Thank you for your transparency and your kindness.
Well, I try.
Okay. I feel so happy to see you again in this life. Victor, do you will make a workshop or you will make a publication? Do you have a program?
Well, great that you asked. Thank you very much for asking that, and I think this will be the first time I will say this or tell this. I'm working on a book.
Yeah.
I've been working for a book since a little while ago. Yes, the book. Well, it's in Spanish, so I can tell the title in Spanish. Maybe I will make a translation for it. The release will be for July, 24th of July. So for everyone interested, yeah, in the book is all about this, like what's going on with the demographics, what's going on with the new longevity, what's going on with the business world, how it's working nowadays, finding jobs, finding people to work with, and the future of work, is to give an idea of what's going on. I don't have the only solution. I'm just giving you the map for you to see what's going on, and you can find, after you read this and understand the situation, you can find your own path. So just to give a bit of a map, a guide in this crazy world that's going on now, because we're coming from a solid modernity to a liquid modernity. That's a book from a psychologist, Bauman. The book is called Modern Liquidity. I invite everyone to read it. Before, we used to live in a predictable world. You went to school, you graduated, you went to work, you got married, you have kids, you buy a house, you work for 40 years in the same company, you retire, done, happy life. Nowadays, not like that anymore. It changes. Like one day is one job, other day is something else. Like what you learned yesterday, next year it will be something different, because everything is changing so fast, and with technology, and then with people living longer, and then with people not having kids. So this world has changed so much. So we need to stop for a second. Let me look what's happening from before, from now, how the change happened, and how can I navigate these waters. So that's what is the book for, and it will be released on the 24th of July. So I will let you know and provide a waiting list for everyone who wants to sign up the waiting list to be the first one to have the book, and then with a special price too also for signing up. And then yes, that's the news in that regards. Thank you very much for asking.
Okay, and when we can see the book in the next year?
No, this year, 24th of July is the release.
24th July?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and
okay.
From now on, I will release a link. I will pass it to you too for your audience to join in the waiting list. If you join in the waiting list, then you will be the first one to receive the book. and then also on a pre-sale price, obviously, for signing up first than everyone else.
Thank you. Okay, I yes, thank you for your time and for your professional and professionalism, the whole thing that you share with the audience.
Well, thank you.
I think.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was going to
Yeah,
say thank you very much for the time, for having me again in at your podcast or interview with your audience, and then
Yes.
it's great to do this, and then yes, it's fantastic to let know people what's going on, for them to think for themselves. I'm just giving information that's there for everyone. It's in the agenda of the World Economic Forum, it's in the agenda of the International Bank, it's in the agenda of CEPAL, it's in the agenda of the big organizations that study populations and the structure of the world, because how people grow or doesn't grow, populations grow or don't, is what affects economy, affects the way of living, affects the way of we doing things, and affects the way where we focus energy on. So that's my message. So find out about it, get information, questions that you have, let me know. I can provide all the information I have. Yes?
Where we can find you in Instagram, LinkedIn?
Yes, I'm very active I'm in all the platforms. I'm very active in LinkedIn and Instagram. And if you go to Instagram, you can find a link that goes to all my social media and to my webpage where I have more information. You can find all there. So if you go to LinkedIn through like this interview, or Instagram, Victor MANRIQUE CH, you can find me there.
That sounds so great. Okay. Thank you, Victor, and I feel so glad if we can connect and help the people in other opportunity.
Yeah, sure thing. We keep in touch, and we keep sending this message for everyone to learn and to find ways to navigate this changing world and to be successful. That's all we want, to be successful and to lead this new era.
Yeah, the new life, the new change, the new grateful world.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, nice to see you. Take care.
Same thing. Bye bye. Thank you very much.
Bye bye. Ahí terminó. Oh.
Yo cerré. Well, see you later. We close here.